Hey, this is Relucted. As requested, I'm bringing you a small guide on Windwalker talents, glyphs, and stats. To start off, let's take a look at my talents. In the first tier, I chose Tiger's Lust. The reason for this is that I often find myself in roots, not being able to do anything. By choosing this talent, it instantly clears all roots and slows, granting me a 70% speed boost. The reason that I chose not to get celerity, like many other monks, is that I find the sprint extremely helpful in catching up to my targets, whereas with roll, I have the chance of overshooting and completely missing my target. For the next tier, I chose Chi Wave. The reason for this is the heal bonus. It provides a much larger heal than Zen Sphere does if I'm near my target. Though, for threes, I can definitely see myself using Zen Sphere, as I might not be able to always stick to my target, and it provides a constant heal and damage bonus without a cooldown. For the third tier, I chose Ascension, but I find all three of these talents useful depending on the comp that you play. For example, if you're playing a very bursty comp, you would want to try out Chi Brew to instantly grant you 2 additional blackout kicks or heals depending on the situation. For a more consistent damage, I found that Power Strikes is a very viable talent. The reason that I chose Ascension is because I want to be able to set up kills using a Rising Sun kick or a Blackout kick and immediately go into a Fists of Fury. The fourth tier is another toss-up. The two that I prefer are Leg Sweep and Deadly Reach. I find that playing against a team that's composed of ranged DPS, that Deadly Reach is extremely useful as it can serve as both a CC and an interrupt if needed. Leg Sweep, on the other hand, is extremely useful when fighting melee DPS, even if it's just one. Because arenas now allow you to see who you're fighting, you can easily swap between the two depending on who you're about to play. For the fifth tier, I chose Dampen Harm. I find it extremely helpful in a tight situation. It essentially reduces any damage that hits me for over 30k in half. This becomes very crucial when trying to survive a mage, rogue, or ret paladin burst. I chose not to get diffuse magic because you're not really able to do anything if you're stunned, whereas if you can predict high burst, you can use Dampen Harm before you're locked down. For the last talent, I chose the White Tiger. After testing it out, the Tiger does about 100,000 damage on a Resil geared player if it's able to stick to it, which can be crucial when you're needing to get a kill. I dislike Chi Torpedo because for some reason that isn't indicated in the tooltip, it goes much further than roll, and I find myself overshooting a lot of targets. Let's take a look at my glyphs. For major glyphs, I chose Sparring, Touch of Karma, and Touch of Death. I prefer Touch of Death because you don't always have 3 Chi to finish off a target when you really need it. The Touch of Karma glyph is extremely helpful going against ranged DPS, as I am able to reflect both players' damage back at one of them, or even their healer. I chose Sparring over Fists of Fury and Stoneskin because Fists of Fury, pretty much anything that goes in front of you is going to be stunned anyway. And the only thing that's really going to work against is DR'd players. And for Stoneskin, it's really only going to work against Feral Druids, and I feel that Fortifying Brew is a sufficient enough defensive cooldown to help me live through that. As for mining glyphs, it's really just for cosmetic reasons. I will highly suggest, though, not to get the Glyph of Flying Serpent kick, as you really can't stop the kick once you're in midair, and if you completely miss your target, you're done and completely out of position. Looking at Monk's stats, Agility is by far the best primary stat at the moment, right there next to PvP power, of course. After Agility, it is important to grab a perfect 3% hit cap if possible, or as close enough to it, at least for your special attacks. Once you grab that, then you're going to want to get your Expertise cap to make sure that none of your abilities are dodged or parried. In terms of Mastery, Haste, and Crit, I chose Crit as I feel that having more crits provides better kill opportunities and damage rather than relying on a proc that can grant you either a Tiger Palm or a Blackout kick, or even Haste, which grants you energy regen and passive faster attack speeds. With that said, Season 12 has just begun, and you can expect to see a lot more videos of Battlegrounds and Arenas coming shortly. Thanks for watching.